All right, couple injuries to note here, guys that did not finish the game. Luther has an ankle that we need to take a look at. Hopefully have more information tomorrow. Eamon didn't finish. He had a hamstring that we'll see the severity tomorrow as well. And then Rome had a little re-aggravation of the foot, so we'll see where he's at as well going forward. Beyond that, in terms of the game, I thought the guys did a great job coming out and taking care of the business. We talked about that here this week. You know, you come off a very highly emotional game the week before, and we ended up on the loss side of that one. And it's the easy thing to do is allow that to spiral out of control, and the guys didn't allow that to happen. They came back to work and handled the process really well, and like I said, they took care of business here this week. I thought the coolest thing about it, not only the weather, those guys handled it extremely well, but to see our fans come out in full force like they did, and really made an impact on that game. You could hear them, you could feel them on out there, and I could tell that our opponent was struggling with the crowd. So we're going to need that going forward. Couple more home games here this regular season, and we'll keep it moving. I can't say enough good things here about our defense. You know, I think this was really an outstanding performance. I know we gave up a couple explosives that we'd like to have back, but outside of one or two plays, they really did a phenomenal job, you know, shutting down the run game, making it second and long, third and long, and getting off the field. When you combine that with the takeaways, once again, you know, 3 takeaways there in the second half, which were enormous for us, it really, I thought, carried the day for us. Offensively, tough opponent. That's a really good defense. You know, we talked about it being a top 3 defense going into the week, and that proved to be the case. You know, we had some success at times, but yet it wasn't as consistent as we would like it to be. Moved the ball somewhat well in the first half, but yet didn't capitalize with points the way we would like to. And in the second half, we were able to find a couple more opportunities for points. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty good day. Special teams came through for us. Duvernay had some big returns. Our kickoff unit once again showed why we believe they're a weapon for us, and so that was really encouraging to see as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up from there.
We see a lot of Caleb putting like the accuracy, just putting the ball where it would lead the receivers into more yards.
Did I see that today? Is that what you, yeah. Once again, I got to go back and I got to look at it. Sometimes my perspective doesn't always show that for me, but yeah, I thought he did a good job finding some open guys, and it did feel like we had a little bit more run after catch here this week than what we've maybe had over the last few weeks, and so usually that's a good sign.
What would you expect a game where everything kind of looks a little better, a little sharper for him, passing wise, can be a step forward after this?
Yeah, once again, I got to go back and look and see if that is the case. Where I know our completion percentage is maybe a tick higher than what it's been, so that's a good thing. But you know, we'll go back, we'll find out what we did well and what we need to clean up. But there's a number of areas. You know, you win a game 31-3, and yet there's still a number of areas where we need to address, and we need to continue to get better as a team.
What was your perspective on that second touchdown pass to DJ, where Caleb goes right and just makes that kind of ridiculous throw?
Yeah, no, it reminded me a little bit of, was it Philly that he threw it to OZ in the back of the end zone? You know, he's rolling to his right, and we just barely missed OZ. I think that was Philly. And similar type concept where he's rolling to his right, and he finds the guy on the back of the end zone behind him like that. And I would say 99% of quarterbacks, you tell them don't even waste your time looking back there and trying to make that throw. There's usually bad things that happen, and yet he's got the ability to make that throw. And you know, DJ made a heck of a play there right on the back line as well. So yeah, that was one of those highlight moments there.
Then what specifically happened with Roman? You guys, there was a pretty good chance he was going to play, and how did he?
Yeah, pre-game re-aggravated the foot, so. We'll find out more tomorrow, just the extent of that.
Do you know if he's going to play again this season, or is it?
We'll find out more tomorrow. I really don't know. I really don't know right now how the extent of it. You know, something like that happens right before a game, and you're solely focused on getting the next guy ready to perform at a high level.
It's
2 weeks in a row that's happened to really important players. How frustrating is that? How do you kind of process that?
I really don't process it. All I think about is what we need to do to win the game.
Ben, what was your reaction? Obviously, you haven't seen the film, but your immediate reaction to the way your offensive line did against such a talented Browns line, especially featuring someone like Myles Garrett?
Yeah, I thought we did some good things, and there's a couple that we wish we had back. The false starts frustrate me a little bit. We're past that here at this point. And then we have a ball handling snafu there in the second half. That can't happen. I mean, those are things that those should be behind us now at this point. Those guys know that. They understand that, because when you face these good defenses, these good teams, you really can't give them anything. You don't have any mulligans. And so other than that, though, I do think those guys came out and battled. I think they were looking forward to the challenge. You talk about all week how fast the linebacking crew is that we were going against, and how you got to take the proper angle. And then obviously their defensive front, their get off, it's something that's very difficult to simulate over the course of practice. And so it can be a shock if you're not prepared for it. And I thought our guys handled it really well.
How intentional was it at the beginning of the week to set a tone when you said that you were desperate for a victory, to create that sense of urgency that you guys showed today?
Yeah, our guys understand it. They know where we are in the season. They know what's out in front of us, and they know how competitive the NFC is. So it doesn't take much from the head coach at this point. They get it, And I've been saying all along, we got some veteran leaders that they've been here, they've done that, they've won games, they've been close before, and so I think we got a really good big picture view of where we are and where we're going and what we need to do in the here and the now.
Does winning 10 games mean anything to you?
Not really. we're on to the next one. It's 10's great, but it's not enough.
What impressed you most about DeMarco's play on the leaping interception when he tipped it up to himself?
Yeah, I think that was a game changer to me. You're always looking for a little bit to spark your team, ignite your team there, and in the second half, that's really what it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, was the score 14-3 at that point? Yeah, so we really needed it, because we were able to capitalize and make that into 21-3, and it felt like we took firm control of the game there at that point. And so he's done such a great job coming in, at the end of training camp or whenever that was, and picking up the defense. I know he had some familiarity there with DA, but to go from a guy contributing on special teams to playing significant snaps at Mike linebacker, I think that's a big credit to him.
Then you guys have 3 huge games left. How do you feel about your team's readiness for that kind of stretch, especially compared to where you guys were at the start of the season?
Yeah, no, we're definitely a better football team than we were that first month of the season. And probably these 3 opponents we're playing coming up, they're all going to say the same thing. And so I know at this point, I know we're a good football team. And I'm looking forward to seeing this competition over the next 3 weeks, as they are. I think our players are excited to be in this spot. They put themselves in we're 10-4, and we've got a lot to play for here over the next 3 weeks. And really, in this league, you can't ask for a lot more than that.
We talked a lot about DJ last week and the lack of production. And you kind of, these things happen the way games go. Did you foresee this at all, the way he was going to play today and the kind of production?
I think he's been playing this way every week, and it's just we haven't been able to get him the ball or get the ball in his hands. And so we're able to target him a few more times, and he came through with some big plays for us. And, hopefully sometimes these things come in bunches. You kind of have a dry spell, and then all of a sudden he could come on hot here over the next 3 games and just really take off. And that's the way it tends to happen, which would be a good thing for us.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.